So you can't be clean or balanced inside unless you taste what it feels like to be very messy. Everybody has to be messy for a while. That's just part of the deal. And at some point you realize actually the messiness and the synergy or the balance that you come to, it's actually the same thing really. It's only because of the play of duality, it looks like, it's different. It's like, oh, this is messy and oh, this is nice and balanced. No, but it's the same thing. I saw in the comments sometimes the people, they get that. And this is important to get. When you realize that principle, man, it takes so much weight off. I've said before, the mind beats us up in two ways, and they're both equally powerful, the way they beat us up. The first is the mind or the ego or the self-will or the lower vasanas and tendencies we have, the messy part, which, remember, we need that. The mind plays through that and tells us, go do this, go do that, tells us to do things that make our life messy, basically. And then it has all the justification, rationalization behind it at the time when it's telling us to do it. It's, no, this is important, you have to do this. This is God's will, actually. Yeah, we have to do it. Got to go have fun. God wants me to have fun. Okay, I'm gonna go have fun. Or you need to go help the people, right? You're not doing it for a dopamine hit. No, you're doing it to help the people. And all that stuff, we end up living a lie, and that makes our life messy, emotionally, mentally. So you have to do that for a while, because you know what it does? It'll beat us up. But you get beat up by, oh, I didn't say the other aspect. So the mind tells us to do all that, and then equally potent and powerful in its negativity, the mind will say, why'd you do that, man? Why'd you do that? This is causing you problems. Yeah, man, what's wrong with me? You want to be spiritual. You want to not be spiritual, but you want to recognize your spiritual nature, because that's the only thing that actually gives some real solid comfort. All these external things, yeah, they'll make you comfortable for a second, and then you lose it, and then you feel bad, and then you get comfortable again. It's like, I want to realize my this deep waters of my being, because there it's nice. I just want to realize that. So, why, the mind will say, why are you doing those things? It's making you restless and anxiety, and causes friction and problem, makes your life unmanageable. And so how can you be in the deep waters of yourself when you're doing all those things? Why are you doing them, idiot? It takes a while to catch and say, wait a minute, idiot, you're the one that told me to go do it. See, there's so much identity with the mind that we don't know it's the mind. We don't know that there's us and the mind. We think we're the mind. So there's no space. The mind will tell us to go do some stupid thing. We do it, then the mind will beat us up for doing it, and we listen to both sides. That causes a lot of turmoil. That makes our life messy. Okay, here's the positive side to that, though. You can't have transcendence without messiness. This messiness will end up causing, because law of karma, will end up causing, our tolerance for pain goes down in time. You can't get away with today what you used to do when you were younger. You can't. It's good too. Otherwise, how would we ever wake up? So you start getting beat up more emotionally and mentally by your lifestyle habits and your addictions and your outlook on life and all this negativity. You're more sensitive. You get beat up, man. You can't take it anymore. All right, that causes a natural organic humility after some point, because something in you is I can't do this. I can't figure my life out. I can't manage my life. I've been to all the self-help courses and classes and positive thinking and manifestation and gurus, and they touched my third eye. I tried all these things, man, but I can't do it. I'm tired. That's what happened to Buddha. And he leaned up against a tree and just chilled, and then all of a sudden he came into himself. It's how the hell did that happen? I gave up, and now I found what I'm looking for, but I spent my whole life looking for it. Yeah, you have to, though. That's the messy part. You have to let this search and looking come to a natural end, organically by itself. Even though you know it's futile, keep looking and searching. That's called cooperating with evolution, and it will accelerate things and you'll come to organicness quicker. It's when the mind comes in and tries to cut things off prematurely because it listened to some video somewhere or read a book and they said, you don't need to do that. You're like already the self. The mind says, yeah, I'm already the self, so I'm good. You see, that's the mind again trying to manage your spiritual evolution. Doesn't work. But you have to do it to see it don't work. That's the messy stage. So you keep doing all these things. You keep getting beat up. And then you get humility. Because, you just like, it humbles you. You're like, please, like, I can't stop beating myself up, basically. That's an authentic prayer. God, I can't stop beating myself up. Now, most people won't know what you're talking about. They haven't even come close to reaching that stage. Their karma hasn't even came up yet. The challenges that they have, that they're supposed to undergo in life, that's going to break them, they haven't even reached that yet. So they're like coasting. They're coasting on some grace period, some spiritual grace. And so they're like, what's wrong, man? Like, what are you talking about? Like, everything's just cool. Like, you just be chill and cool. Like, I'm cool. And you're like, well, your mind might mess with you and say there's something wrong with you. Like, look, they're saying that. Like, what's wrong with me? Or you might have an intuitive recognition, like, wait a minute. They don't know yet. They haven't reached that stage yet where their deeper darkness or shadow side has come up to where they got to contend with it. Or they're just denying it. There's a lot of people do that. A lot of spiritual teachers do that too. They just deny it. And then the justification is, well, I'm already the pure self, so there's no need to look at the shadow side. It really don't exist. All that. All these things we got to work through. You see why it takes longer than a lifetime? How people, they don't even know what we're talking about right now. This message is for those that know what I'm talking about. I wish I could only send it to you and just cut out all the riffraff. So much riffraff. There's people, they have nothing to do in their life and they just watch videos. Like, that's all they can. It's dopamine addiction. There's people that don't even watch the video. They'll go from video to video looking at the title and then leave comments. They just want to engage. Their life's very boring and lonely. They have nothing to do. What do they say? Negative attention's better than no attention? All that. All right, what's the title? We're going off a little bit. Oh yeah, about messiness. Okay. There's messiness, then there's humility, right? Because then there's a natural surrender. It's like I said before, God, I can't stop beating myself up. Like, I'm beating myself up from every direction. My tendencies to go do things that aren't auspicious for me, that's beating me up. Then I beat myself up for doing it. That's beating me up. I'm like a walking masochist. Like, what do I got to do, man? There's a surrender now. You're surrendering your self-will, little human power for something greater. Because, you got no choice. That's organic. That prayer is organic. A lot of people are praying. I went to a church 3 months ago, just for the hell of it. I was like, let me check it out. And I got there late, and then they had the thing at the end where they were going around. Everybody could say their prayer, what they wanted. Every single person, I'm not exaggerating, every single one, their prayer was I hope my business, I need, my business is going down. I hope, I need, please, God, help my business. Please help me with some money. Oh, my aunt, she's sick. Can you please make her well? You know, this person's like feels pain. Can you take that away? I'm like, whoa. What's my point for saying that? Weak prayers compared to the prayer I just mentioned a minute ago. When you actually see that this human life don't work, the human power and mental mechanism does not work. It does not know how to find peace. It only knows how to just create distraughtness. I mean, just look at the world, turn on the news. You only got to watch it for 5 seconds. If you're sensitive, you see like, oh yeah, okay. That's an organic prayer. So, get beat up, get humility, then there's the natural surrender. Then grace can come. Not come, grace gets revealed. Our true nature is grace. It's just the mind and the ego has been given, like, it's allowed to drive or something for a while. Grace is chilling, like, it's like, okay, man, go for it. You think you can like run this ship? All right. So when there's surrender, like the ego and mind, it like gets removed from the driver's seat. And grace is like, okay, I'm gonna take over now. It can't do that though until there's a surrender. Hence, you need the mess to give the humility, to give the surrender, to let grace come in. And when there's grace, then there's transcendence of this mess. Then there's transcendence of the mind that's telling you to do all the debaucherous nonsense. You're not so caught up in that anymore. You might feel the tendency to do it, but you can kind of like step over it. You don't have to listen to it because the identity's not there, because you feel grace somewhere. Like you have a higher power now that's working through you. Whereas before it was just mind power, ego power. So then you can step over that stuff. And then also, you're gonna, okay, here's the other thing. Accept that you're always gonna be imperfect, because like, as long as any entity that incorporates into an individual form is gonna have some imperfection. It's just a degree of subtlety. Who cares? Okay, you start to accept that. So when you make a mistake, then also you don't beat yourself up anymore. You've transcended that part. You have to transcend both. Transcend the tendency to go do the nonsense, and then transcend the guilt and shame that the mind creates for when you go do it. Both. You have transcendence now of both. To a degree, you can always transcend more. Don't ever forget that. Don't look for some flag post transcendence. That's something also that has to be realized. This guilt and shame that we used to feel doing things, it turns more into self-compassion now, because you recognize the vulnerable existence of the consciousness plane in this very constricted, limited human form. That's the whole purpose. And consciousness is unlimited, man. It's like probably bored. It like wants to put itself in a little box for a little while. It's only a little while, and experience what life is like that. And then experience, well, can I still remember myself while I'm trapped in this little box? This is the game of life. What else? I think we're about done here. I just, this is important. Accept. Can you do this? I had a woman tell me this once some years ago. I was telling her I just want to be free of like some certain limitations that the body had, so then I can be in the highest version of myself. She says, what if this is the highest version of yourself already? I never forgot that, man. That hit deep. It was, because it was the ego and the mind thinking. I made a video about that before, like waiting for something to happen or something to change before I can like be the highest version of myself. She checked me. God checked me through her. Can you accept this version of yourself right now, which is ever changing anyway? This is, can you be fine with that? This is the highest version of yourself. Why would you think it's not? Because you're comparing yourself to other people? You don't know them. You're seeing a very superficial aspect to them. You don't live with them 24 hours a day, and you're not inside their astral body to where you can feel all their thoughts and emotions and how balanced they are or not. You don't feel all that. You don't know. You don't have the ability or the sound mind to judge. You don't know. So you realize these things, and you start to have compassion for yourself. Then you can start to have compassion for others because they're in the same game. And sometimes they don't need compassion, they need some fire. That discernment also comes. That's why there's no standard. You can't make a check, you can't write down things, I'm gonna practice these things all the time, no matter what. Never get angry. No, God might want to get angry through you because, like, to serve its own divine purpose. If everybody was just fluffy and puffy and spiritual foo-foo-y, where's the change? There'd be no change. There needs to be wisdom. There needs to be heart, compassion, you can say, but also there needs to be wisdom. There needs to be both faculties need to be on point. Your heart and your knowledge. Okay. So lastly, and this ties back into this patience is like it's such a hard, difficult thing, it seems. It was for me too, to have patience with the unfolding of this process. To accept that your mess and your transcendence, it's all part of the divine design. You can't have one without the other. Sure, there's a natural instinct to want to transcend. That needs to be there. But what about the acceptance part? See, people forget about that part, and then it's not balanced. They either imagine themselves on a higher level than they actually are, or they beat themselves up because they're not on the level that they think that they should be on. You got to catch both of those things out. That's why I'm a huge proponent of introspection, subtle self-analysis. Because, like, what's the problem? Why be so afraid to admit your shadow side? Everybody has one. Every master has one. You're not going to see it when he's speaking on the podium for an hour or two. You won't see it. But if you're around them all the time, you're going to see it. Unless you're so duped by delusion. I've seen people like this too. No matter what the guy or girl does, even though it's glaringly obvious that, like, okay, their human shadow side came out, no big deal, by the way. The disciples will be like, no, this was actually, they did that because this, and they were taking on the other person's karma, and you see, they have all the mind's a trip, man, how we can rationalize anything. So this channel is more about self-honesty, real self-honesty, raw self-honesty, not pretending to be higher than you are, nor shrinking and being like, I'm like nobody and playing small. No, you just be what you are. Easier said than done, I know. But it's your destiny that you'll come into a balance with yourself, your shadow side and your transcendent side, and this is where the real happiness is. Just because you transcend something, like those negative tendencies I was talking about, just because you don't act on them anymore, doesn't mean that you might not sometimes act on it, or that there won't be some internal kind of fight or something. That's like part of existence. So acceptance. This is very underrated. Everybody want to focus on transcendence. It's imbalanced. Acceptance and transcendence. There you go. Then you'll be balanced. I'll see.